Acharya Ashtottara Shatasishama. His Divine Grace of Chaitanya Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Vidai Gaura Brahma all glories to Assembly, all glories to Assembly, all glories to Assembly, glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Maharaj. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, text number 100, and the purport Srila Prabhupada says, self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. We think it's our independence whether to surrender or not. It's not a question of independence. The devotee is completely dependent on Krishna and he acts and thinks as Krishna desires. That is the fact. Whether we are supposed to be devotees or non-devotees, it is measured on the basis of who follows whose desire. If you follow your desire and make Krishna subjugative, that Krishna, wait, I'm coming to you. Krishna is independent, you are dependent. He knows how to escape from such a mentality. So a person may think himself, oh yeah, he is ready to surrender, but Krishna does not approve. Because we have to follow Krishna's desire, and Krishna's desire are realized by this spiritual master. So therefore, a devotee approaches in every respect of whether acting in Krishna consciousness or performing any kind of service which is favorable for Lord Shri Krishna. He has to take full shelter of the representative of Lord Shri Krishna. Exclusive surrender, exclusive dependence, and exclusive faith that Krishna will protect me, Krishna will nourish me. It should come and approve through the agency of the spiritual master. You can't whimsically say, oh, I am surrendered to Krishna. You can't criticize me, you can't do anything. But you must know what is the spiritual master's desire. Prabhupada said only one way is there, that you have to follow in the footsteps of the acharyas to succeed. So, when a bona fide spiritual master is there, rest assured that it's a verifiable thing through Guru and Sadhu. If you want to check your spiritual master's bona fideness, then you have to depend upon the disciplic succession and the Shastra. Two things. But if a person is a neophyte, he doesn't know. So both mutual requirements are there. You examine your Guru and your Guru examine you for 1 year. And then give initiation. And when you are ready to, follow 4 regulatory principles, chant 16 rounds minimum, do the vratas if you are a householder, and engage yourself in positive or favorable service of Lord Shri Krishna. That setup is already there. But one cannot whimsically detach himself from the association of the fellow devotees. Then how can he or she has independent connection with Guru? It is not Guru's desire. It is their desire not to associate with the fellow kinsmen or the fellow God brothers and God sisters. Instructions are very plain. Most of us fail there. We think after initiation we became independent. We achieved. People think under this, so-called hallucination. There is no need. Then why Guru is, working hard to encourage everywhere where the disciples are there. Now I'll call my spiritual master at my home, I'll feed him, and that's about it. This is not good mentality. So, if a devotee is completely dependent on Krishna, then he acts and thinks as Krishna desires, and such desires are revealed through the spiritual master, so he must follow. He must get Agya. A Paramahamsa has no program for sense gratification. He is interested only in satisfying the senses of the Lord. So why should he satisfy the whimsical idea of individualistic, separatist devotee from his clan? He is not an entertainer. Neither you should become an entertainer. When one is fully surrendered to Krishna, he becomes happy knowing that regardless of situation, Krishna will protect him. This also can be misinterpreted. Even though one is going through troublesome in a, what you call, Ekantiki Hare Bhakti, solitary Bhakti. No. Sruti, Smruti, Purana, the Pancharatra ki vidhi vina, Ekantiki Hare Bhakti, Utpat aajkal pate. Utpat means disturbance. If you feel so much independent, you are obsessed with that ego that you do not realize. But the fellow devotee says, oh, why one is so much separated? That is Ekantiki Bhakti. What to speak of multi-guru system? Oh, the president is somebody else's disciple. Why should I cooperate? I'll go. Bring his false ego. He is like a child who is fully surrendered to his mother, confident that she is there to protect him. This kind of, exclusive, protection, a child is building up in him. So similarly, we are all children of Lord Shri Krishna, even though we have white hair or no hair, or black hair. Everybody is a child in front of Lord Krishna. He is the oldest one. And even of old age when we start bhakti, but do not understand, you say, oh, I'm a senior person, senior citizen, senior this and senior that. But what really is commanding respect is development of Krishna consciousness. Why should he give up? Most of the older people, they do not take initiation, neither they consider it is important. Then how they can progress, not simply by hearing, but performing also. So, we are all children in front of Krishna. Who can, cultivate that sense of humility and consider himself to be completely dependent upon Lord Shri Krishna, just like a child is completely dependent upon his mother? Who can do that? It requires only humility. That is the sense of humility is required. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 55th verse, Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Rajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanyevātmana Tushtaha Sita Prakyastadochyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arises from mental concoction, and when his mind is thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. He has lingering desires still attached to it. That's why he takes such erroneous, independent decisions and doesn't want to associate. Then we will be, cutting the root that allows us to grow. Humility is required. Bahunam janmanam ante Yāvam mam prapadyate Vasudevah sarvamiti Mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Do you think Srila Prabhupada opened up a factory to manufacture devotees? No. He is allowing us to grow. And growth is not all of a sudden. After many, many births, a person who is in knowledge that Krishna is absolute surrenders. And you have to surrender within one lifetime and with your own independent desires. That others may consider, oh, how one is rushing up. Fools trading where the angels fear to trading. That means we are not in complete knowledge. We are rushing up as if we are qualified. But who wants to qualify you? The spiritual master may not be agreeable. Then, okay, I will give you up. I'll find somebody else who can pamper my desires. If this Guru is not fulfilling my desire, I can have another Guru. Can you deal with Krishna like this? Guru Tattva is Krishna's Tattva. It is the same. So Krishna will reject you, but I'll find you somewhere else in some Guru. How can one be a hypocrite? Self-surrender means, where is the readiness? Where is the readiness even to follow the predecessor acharyas? When a spiritual master dies, okay, and devotees, they get completely, oh, our shelter is gone, oh, our, protection is gone. What do? We become scattered. We don't care for anybody. What is the use to stay in the institution? No. Everything is there. Everybody follows Srila Prabhupada. They cannot follow their own whims. You remain faithful to your spiritual master. One who thinks that he dies, he reasons ill if he thinks he dies. But thou art living in sound and preaching the glories worldwide. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. He reasons ill. Such a upstart thinks, oh, my spiritual master has died and I'll go. But if he is not surrendered to his spiritual master, is there any necessity to go to other one? You better believe ISKCON is facing some of the problems like this. Because many spiritual master has disappeared because of their advanced age. You have to understand within the lifetime the mood and mission of the spiritual master and try to strive development within those services that you execute to him. Then, naturally, even after he leaves, his desires are still hanging around. So, you do it. Otherwise, what is the necessity at this advanced age to start a Bangkok project? Let me try at least. It's upon the pleasure of the spiritual master, So, it takes many, many births to cultivate the sense of dependency on the desire of the spiritual master. Without fulfilling, how can he jump over? We are given enough time and on leash, of course, but enough time to develop, to follow in the mood and mission of the spiritual master. That is a service which will be positively recorded and one who doesn't know that they are fooling themselves like that. That means to take shelter at the lotus feet of spiritual master also comes after many years of situated with him. He gives equal opportunity. But those who are desiring to advance, they take into account of this particular situation. After all, we are all more or less surrendering to Lord Shri Krishna, but whether we are off track or we are on the track, how would we know it? The living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals, after many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of the spiritual realization. In the beginning, the spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some leaning towards impersonalism. Offshoot. Does not want to remain with the main trunk, but go offshoot. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in spiritual life and that these activities constitute devotional service. Unless and until empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can become a branch. Just like Srila Prabhupada became a branch, ISKCON became a branch of Gaudiya Vaishnava. We are still attached to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but according to Srila Prabhupada, and we are connected both by instructions and initiations to the main trunk of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tree. Prabhupada did whatever is necessary for the modern age. He came to the far west, but always remained humble in front of the Lord and executed that humility outside with the people who came in contact with him. How would he answer? Oh, Swamiji, you came from India, so you have so many temples, so many devotees. Prabhupada said, yes, but only time is separate. Is it not? So he has a far-sighted vision, at the same time humility at his command at the present moment. Is that it? He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Thus he thinks of everything relation to Vasudeva or Shri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna as the highest goal. Such surrendered great souls are very rare. ISKCON is not a factory, but it gives equal opportunity to advance. That mechanism is there because Prabhupada established that. Tvam eva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat paramam shantim stanam prapyasi shashvatam. O son of Bharat, surrender to him utterly. By His grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal level. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna has already realized Him as Param Brahma, Param Dhamam, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, everything. But yet Krishna is indicating that first you realize yourself and Paramatma, who is infusing all these, potencies in you to develop with Lord Shri Krishna through Bhakti Yoga. So, approach Him first. Means you should become true to yourself. To become true to yourself means who is in yourself? You are along with Paramatma. Don't think Paramatma is not in you. If He is situated in every atom and in between the atoms, is there any space where one should not realize Paramatma? Can realize. So naturally, we have to be true to ourselves, with verification of Atma Sakshatkar and Paramatma Sakshatkar. Both happen at the same time. Dakshas Atmanyatho Mahi. Vidyate Hriday Granthi. Is there that? Chindyanti Sarva Samshaya. Is that there? Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. Who stops your devotional service? Drashta eva Atmanishvara. You will come face to face with yourself. Means your intelligence, whatever your thinking pattern is, that is geared to you, the origin of origin of consciousness is Paramatma, and the first receptor is the soul. So now you are seeing yourself. Before that you can't see. And in sentimentalism, I know myself and I know Krishna is in my heart. What do you know? Damn thing. You can't verify. Don't become sentimentalist. This is the process to recognize your own form and Krishna's Paramatma. That potency, even though it is smaller than the smallest, Anoraniya Mahatomaya, you are of the size of 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair, and Paramatma can also become smaller than the smallest. This is nature. So, but you have to see Him. Realize it. Drashta means seeing. Factually, it's not intellectually realizing. It's seeing. No, you have eyes which are now opened within your own heart. Then and then, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilojanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achirite Gunasvarupam Govinda Mati Purushantamaham Bhajami. What it means, Krishna is advising, Arjuna, see my expansion as Paramatma who is sitting in you and guiding you. Realize Him. Then through that agency of Paramatma, you will see exactly Aniruddha is the immediate, that is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. He is expanding as Paramatma. But he comes from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Lord of the universe. Then he is also coming from Karmadakshaya Vishnu, who is the creator of the material world. But he is simply an expansion of secondary sankarshan of one Vaikuntha planet. So then you trace out all these 24 Vishnus in the Vaikuntha planets. Krishna is there in center, Goloka Vrindavan. That the Goloka Dhamna Nijadhamni Talecha Tasya Devi Mahesha Haridham Ashuteshvata. Haridham is Vaikuntha. But it is under Goloka. So Krishna remains master, doesn't want to put up a step outside of Vrindavan. Vrindavan Parityaja Pade Karna Gacchati. So that understanding ultimately is Lord Shri Krishna in Vrindavan. So Krishna says, oh, first you go to him, then come to me. So if somebody has not realized the Paramatma feature within his heart, and the soul becomes subservient to him, and then the same vision he is applying with everyone because he is situated everywhere. How can he discriminate? It must be on a very high, level of Paramahamsa. It must be very high on the Paramahamsa level. You can't discriminate between who is neophyte, who is advancing devotee, and who is mature. No, he sees them equally. He doesn't discriminate. Only the middle class have to discriminate. And they can become good. A Paramahamsa doesn't care for taking the Guruship unless if he is ordered. Srila Prabhupada was a Vaikuntha man, but he came down amongst us, shows us how to chant Hare Krishna and develop Krishna consciousness. He monitored, he taught, he educated the devotees. All the way starting from a lota and the bathroom and teaching how to cook for pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. Learn how to make pizza. Yes.
But Krishna never ate pizza.
Yeah?
Krishna never ate pizza.
Arre Baba, Gujarati pizza he likes. A living entity should therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, and that will relieve him from all kinds of miseries of this material existence. By such surrender, not only will one be released from all miseries in this life, but at the end he will reach the Supreme God. Sarvadharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion. Krishna says, whatever you are thinking, just give up. If it is not allowing you to become humble and recognize your reality and Paramatma's reality, and you do not surrender to him, give up all other paths which are not allowing, except these ways of Sharanagati. I shall deliver from all sinful reactions, do not fear. That simple surrender to Krishna will save him from unnecessarily wasting time. We are wasting so much time. The particular words used here, Masucha, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry, are very significant. One may be perplexed as to how one can give up all kinds of religious forms and simply surrender to Krishna, but such worry is useless. Now, the last one, karpanye, means humility. Lastly, one should always think of himself as the most fallen amongst the soul, so that Krishna will take care of him. This is in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chapter number 12. Let's go. Amara jivan sada papiratam nahi ko punyera lesha. Amara jivan sada papiratam nahi ko punyera lesha. Pare utrena diya ki dekho pare utrena diya ki dekho diya ki given to sin, in it there is not a particle of good. I have caused others great anxiety. I have troubled all souls. Nija sukha lagi pape nahi dori. Pape nahi dori. Doya hina sakha paro. Doya hina sakha paro. Mara sukhe dukhi sada mitya bhasi. Mara sukhe dukhi sada mitya bhasi. Mara dukha sukhe paro. Mara dukhe sukhe paro. For the sake of my own enjoyment, I have never hesitated to perform sinful acts. Devoid of all compassion, I am concerned only with my selfish interest. Perpetually speaking lies, I become dejected upon seeing others happy, whereas the misery of others is the source of a great delight for me. Ashesha kamana dodi maje mora. 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 Drodhi damba parayana. Drodhi damba parayana. Material desires within me, the core of my heart. I am wrathful, fond of exhibiting arrogance, intoxicated by vanity, and bewildered by worldly affairs. I wear the cherished ornaments of envy and egotism. These are the vices, full of vices. हमारा जीवन सदा प्राप्य रहता ना ही को पुण्य रवेश. There is nothing auspicious in my life. Nidralasya hata sukhaye virata. Nidralasya hata sukhaye virata. Akare udyogi ami. Akare udyogi ami. Satya and sleep, I resist all pious deeds. Yet I am very enthusiastic to perform wicked acts. For the sake of worldly fame and reputation, I engage in practice of deceitfulness. I am victimized by my own greed, being always lustful. Eheno duljana sarjana vajita. Rejected by godly people is a constant offender, devoid of all good works, for ever inclined towards evil. He is worn out and wasted by various miseries. Bardhakke ekono upaya vihina. Deprived of all means of relief, thus humbled and poor, Bhakti Vinod submits his tale of grief at the feet of the Supreme Lord. Remember, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is putting himself in the person who is uselessly living in this life. Means simply for Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. This is useless. The Pancham Purusharth is to develop love of Godhead. That will relieve him. So, that is, in all this process of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, you will not get relief. Because beyond the moksha is bhakti. Without performance of the act of bhakti, your heart will not be quenched. The old age is making, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, making me completely humbled because infirmary and unable to do anything. Old age is painful, isn't it? It's not a happy age and disease. So we are at the mercy, but whatever was supposed to do when we were able to do in our younger life, it was wasted instead. And now we are at the mercy of the time, Kala. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, I'm just realizing the inability. I'm just putting this, request to you to help me out. In Sikshashtakam, sloka number 3, it says, Pranadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the name of the Lord constantly. We were given the opportunity right from the very beginning to cultivate humility, tolerance, and ready to offer all respects to others, but never expect for oneself. If three things are invested in us while chanting Hare Krishna, then it will take us back home back to God. But to get into this humility and tolerance and these virtues, they are very essential in devotional service. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela, 20th chapter, 22nd to 25th verses, although he is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground, and like a tree, he tolerates everything in two ways. When a tree is cut down, it doesn't protest, and even when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet still he gives shelter to others. Although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless and gives all respects to everyone, knowing everyone to be the resting place of Krishna. Everyone to be the resting place of Krishna. And therefore the conclusion comes after killing Pralambasura. Krishna said to Balaram, "Thou Bhaiya, I'm very tired." Hare Baba, Balaram killed Pralambasura. But Krishna says, "I'm tired." So Balaram said, "Let's go under the tree, and you sleep in my lap." So then Krishna was looking at the tree and glorifies the tree. If human beings can develop the mentality of the tree, then their life will be successful. Etanman janma safalyam dranam ihadeshu pranay arthai dhiya vacha archanam dehinam sadaya. The perfection of human form of life is by offering one's life to Lord Shri Krishna. If he cannot give his life, then okay, give artha. If he cannot give artha even, then give his intelligence to further the process of bhakti. If he doesn't have intelligence, then say vacha, means chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What are we qualified in this Kali Yuga? What are we qualified? We have money, we can make temples, but then I have contributed, my name should be there. This attachments is transferable in the form of money to further the entanglement. But it's a sacrifice to disentangle us originally. But no, okay. If you don't have money, give your intelligence in service of Krishna. If you think, oh no, it is too much, then chant Hare Krishna. Your life will be successful. That is the aim. If you can do all four things, like the tree, it's so benevolent, it offers its entire life for the benefit of others. A Vaishnava should never disturb any other living entity with his body, mind, and words. He should always be tolerant and never belittle others. Although a Vaishnava may act powerfully against the demons for Lord Krishna's sake, as did Arjuna, Hanuman, and many other great devotees, a Vaishnava becomes very meek and humble in regard to his own reputation. Our reputation will be brought in by becoming meek and humble. One should be meek and humble in these personal transactions, and if insulted, a Vaishnava should be tolerant and not angry. But if there is blasphemy against one's guru or another Vaishnava, one should be as angry as fire. This was exhibited by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagai Madai got the benefit of that. But although Romaharshana Sutta was very learned and had been given chance to become Brahmana, he had not become gentle. It's not Romaharshana Sutta, it's Sutta Goswami. But his father Romaharshana was not humble. So when Lord Balaram came, he did not get up from this to welcome him. He kept on sitting in the Vyasasana. So Balaram noticed. He took a little blade of grass and cut his throat. And then he installed Sutta Goswami. From this we can understand that one who is puffed up by material acquisitions cannot acquire the gentle behavior befitting a Brahmana. The learning of such a person is as good as valuable jewel decorating the hood of a serpent. If a person doesn't become meek and humble, all his studies of the Vedas and Puranas and his vast knowledge of the Shastras simply outward dress like the costume of a theatrical artist dancing on the stage. God is unconquerable, cannot be conquered, or he cannot be understood by your puffed up mentality that I know him. No, you don't know him. God can be known by the meek and humble, who is submissive and who takes the shelter of a God-realized person and tries to hear from him. Then he can understand that is also Krishna demanding first surrender, become humble and meek. This is the verdict of Vedic Shastras. Tadriddhi pranipatena pariprasena seva upadekshantitam jnanam jnanina tattva. So if one becomes a devotee of Krishna, yasyasti bhaktir bhavati akinchana. Akinchan means pridelessness. Akinchan is Krishna's other name is Akinchan Gochara. This is Kunti coined. He can be understood by Akinchan, one who thinks himself as the humble and meek. That is also said in the Bible that one has to become meek and humble. In Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, 8th verse, Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsam, Shantirajavam. This humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, all are declared to be knowledge. Humility means one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. That material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honors from others. But from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge, who knows that he is not the body, anything honor or dishonor pertaining to this body is useless. Because the body is perishable, so all the designations, honor and dishonor will also get lost. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not truly possible. The beginning of knowledge, therefore, is amanitva. Most of us listen and throws out from other ear. Or we may listen and try to think whether we understood or not later on, but that is also not true. But if we listen and enters in our heart, then it will be called realized knowledge. So here it is said that without humility in our heart, we will not be able to accept the principles of bhakti. Oh, I know this already. No, I know it. No. It means they may have hovering knowledge, but not realized knowledge. There's a difference. One should be humble and know that he is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. Due to rebellion against the Supreme Lord, one becomes subordinate to material nature. One must know and be convinced with this truth. You will be forced to become subservient to Krishna's other nature, that is called Maya. That is subordinate nature. Krishna's internal potency, Yoga Maya, it is the job. Who can take shelter of Yoga Maya? Those who are meek and humble and understood properly. They will take shelter of Yoga Maya. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim asita bhajanti mananyam naso kyatva bhutadim avyayam. The great souls are always under the protection of my internal potency. They take shelter of me. But materially puffed up, they resort to Durga Devi, Mahamaya. And he is not sure that she will protect, so he goes and offers prayers. Some offer bakra. For what? That is not bhakti. That loving devotional service, prem, is far different from disciplines such as karma, jnana and yoga. At every stage, it is decorated by indifference to them, and as the root is dainya, utter humility. The intelligent person should carefully cultivate speech, behavior, and thinking that fix him in utter humility, and anything that stands in the way of it should be he should avoid. When dainya fully matures, prema unfolds without limit. This is quoted from Vedavyasapriya of Sanatana Goswami. All the gopis partake of that exalted and most perfect love, and they all constantly know that the pleasure of Krishna is a never-ending chain of pastimes. Yet none of the gopis even imagines that Krishna has special love for her. All these higher truths are revealed by the Goswamis. Can you understand this? All the gopis partake of that exalted and most perfect love. And they all constantly know the pleasure of Krishna's never-ending chain of pastimes. And everybody was relishing. Yet none of the gopis even imagined that Krishna has special love for her. Individually. So when they went into desperateness of separation from Krishna, they realized then
Krishna has a special love.
that's correct. And that is more intensified. So how can the gopis would give up that separation? Even Krishna came himself. He admitted, I'm sorry, I'm indebted to your love. I cannot repay you. So let your love be most glorious, and this is your credit. Nobody can take it away from you. Krishna accepts the defeat. But is the Supreme Personality. He created that love specifically in individual gopi, that every gopi felt that Krishna has special love for her. In the commentary of Sanatana Goswami, caring nothing for their own happiness, they only want to do what pleases him. Such utter humility distinguishes them from the young gopas or the male cowards who tend to consider themselves Krishna's favorites and presume themselves very fortunate. The gopis' love, however, is on the highest level of perfection. They are never satisfied with themselves, for their humility is absolute. When we become more and more humble, we will be more empowered to perform loving devotional service. Humility has no bounds, no limits. So that is the realm gopis already crossed. Unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult. Thank you very much. So Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
So we are finishing all the 6. Now you can ask questions.
Maharaj, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1861, Lord Krishna says, Ishvara Sarvabhutana Hridesha Arjuna Tishtati. And in the next verse he says that, Tameva Saranam Gacha Sarvabhavena Bhavalata. So he is pointing towards the Paramatma.
Yes, which
So-
is his expansion
so-
to individual soul.
Understanding the self is the first step towards self-realization. Understanding the Paramatma is the first step towards self-realization.
Understanding yourself and Paramatma both are simultaneous. Drashta evatmanishvare. That is the word. Drashta means
Yeah.
eyes. Right? Seeing. It means which eyes you will have. Your eyes are incapable to see even microscopic structures. How it will see super microscopic structures of self and super self.
So Premanjana Churida Bhakti Vilochanena.
Yes, it means the point of emergence of consciousness, where you are situated, but you receive that from Paramatma. It's not your own consciousness. You have been gifted. Otherwise, we were all extinguished, sparks. But the spiritual master picks up this spark or the seed of devotion is excavated by the spiritual master and brought it on the surface. So that is Krishna's mercy through the medium of the Guru. तो यही ब्रह्मांडे भ्रमित हुए कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसाद पाए भक्ति लता बीज. तो bhakti lata बीज means the process of germination of your own devotional service. So naturally you will see yourself standing right before the Paramatma. So you have Atma Sakshatkar, you have Paramatma Sakshatkar simultaneously, and then you attribute, yes, my Lord, I am ready now to conduct it. And Krishna, that is me.
Otherwise, you would have used the term Mam Sarvabhudanam Siddhesya Adhuna Tishtati instead of Ishvara Sarvabhudanam.
No. Ishwar means control. Here is the Parameshwar. No.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
So Maharaj, it's a very I know the sum and substance of the whole devotional service is Amanityam Adavitvam and weak and humble and Taradapi Samichan Taradapi.
In performance of devotional service.
Right.
Sum and substance is to cultivate the mood, but the mission is bhakti,
Right.
the process.
But I see it in everyday life and during the cultivation, I see so much of obstacles or difficulties, in this.
And you can execute the power invested to manage the institution, fine, but always remain meek and humble. This is a thankless task. The great demigods work in this fashion. Even they may forget sometime. The Durga, Maharaj, they have all thankless tasks, but they are pure devotees.
So then, keeping this job is pushing me away from this.
That time will come. Don't cut short. Try to tolerate. When some reverses are occurring, maybe due to some political, accusations or this or that, face it and remain meek and humble. Don't despise on others who are opponents. Offer them, come and be my guest. But then you will make a lot of progress. Internal progress is more than external progress. Otherwise, every task of management is a thankless task. You are not paid for that. It's a thankless task. How Yamaraj does thankless task to punish the puppies. Can you imagine? He chants on one hand and slashes on his whip on the other. It's not controversial, but it is thankless task. It's not attached. And there's so much resolute in this determination. That one time Janak Maharaj was, before going back home back to God, and he thought, let him go to the south where the Maharaj, realm is coming. So he was passing and he arrived near the door, and all of a sudden there was so much change in the internal atmosphere of punishment of Yamaraja. And everybody was amazed. They felt so much happiness. They forgot their miseries. And they found out that Janak Maharaj is just standing there. So they prayed, Janak Maharaj, please can you stay a little longer? Meanwhile, Yamaraj also was very much happy. And he came and embraced Janak Maharaj. Both are authorities and both are God brothers. So, utter humility is there. Otherwise, Janak could have gone all the way direct to come back to Godhead. They went so they didn't have to give up their body to come back to Godhead. It was everything was transformed into transcendental nature of the body. It was no more material. The power of devotion can convert your body into a transcendental body. Hare Krishna. There is also a miraculous place called Mantralaya in South India. It's before Bangalore. It comes through, it's situated in lower or southern Andhra. Okay, and Raghavacharya. Raghavendra is a great saint, and people feel that his presence is still there, where he was meditating in a cave and that Mantralaya area. That is the reason even Ramanujacharya's body was mummified and is still being worshipped in Sharanagati.
Sure.
So like that. Scientists are proposing to freeze instantly in liquid nitrogen the body of a man, and then after several years will revive him. They did with little insects. What is the use? If they can't make in this life, they want to prolong the life. It means let them enjoy first the sense gratification, and then we will make sure that they repay every penny in devotional service. And this is childish. Any question? No? Thank you very much for your work.
Jai Hare Krishna.
So we are finished with the Sharanagati.
Yeah. So what will from tomorrow onwards? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
4 or 5 classes.
I think we did 4 classes.
Huh?
4 classes.
I'm expert. Yeah?
Yeah, we
Oh.
have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday house program. Friday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days.
Friday कोई program नहीं है. Friday.
Tuesday, tomorrow's house program?
No, Wednesday, Thursday is our.
And Sunday also. And Monday also.
Monday, when?
Monday?
Weekend.
Monday we are going, no?
Tuesday you go.
When are we getting the appointment?
So I'll talk to them today and see if Monday we can confirm it. But that's the only day you have. Okay? But Thursday, I was thinking that Thursday we have that one. Unless we find.
Wednesday.
Let me ask Wednesday or Monday. But we are waiting for
Yeah.
So for Monday.
Monday will be the most ideal. Tuesday you are leaving, right?
Tuesday.
That is 19th.
Tuesday.
I don't know how many days I have stayed. Did I make a mistake?
You only plan.
We wanted to.
You only planned it.
We
हमें तो
wanted.
कम लग रहा है.
Somebody does. So I asked,
Oh,
We have to discuss about the changes.
Yeah.